Welcome back to continue with celebrating the 51st anniversary of October War victory. We are very much delighted to have with us via phone Dr. Hassan Wageeh, Professor of International Relations and Linguistics. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. A very good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure. Many happy returns of the day. A great day.
Thank you, sir. Since we are celebrating together this very wonderful and great memory, let's talk a little bit with the reaction of the whole world. Because before 6th of October 1973, the look or the image of Egypt in front of the international community was something, and after our victory, it became something else completely different. Tell me more about this, and how do you see this reaction?
Yes, the reaction was really, for me as a scholar, I felt very proud what was published by fair-minded circles.
Mm-hmm.
I had a book about how Egyptian infantry faced the tanks. It was written by a German correspondent, and he conducted an interview with people who, like Muhammad al-Masri, who destroyed 26 tanks by himself. He mentioned Abdul Asi, who destroyed 23 tanks. Can you imagine? And also talked about the strategic plan. He talked about this thinking out of the box by the Egyptian forces when we were able to deploy what we call scouring, the pumping of waters to open that sand wall, the great sand wall that was in the east side of the Suez Canal. The book is great and full of information, but everyone in the world, one of the most important things is that they circulated the statements of our leader, President
Anwar Sadat. Since you mentioned Anwar Sadat, sir, and you are a professor of linguistics, tell me about the impact of the rhetoric and voice of Sadat on the Egyptian people and on the army.
Yes, of course, he made excellent statements. He was a man who is an authentic hero, one of the authentic heroes in the history of Egypt and in the world. He allowed jokes to be said about him, so his person was not important for him as much as his country, and he really made great statements like, the Israelis called the Sixth War, the 1967 war, the 6 Days War. He was responding to that by saying, we stormed Barlef Line in 6 hours. So he was very keen to retaliate and to make reconsideration for the Egyptian armed forces, a great history. When he was met by Kissinger said to him, I came here for seeking a diplomatic solution. Egypt rejected the ceasefire for 5 times. So Sadat told him, your computer did not calculate the will of a people who are having behind them 7,000 years.
Amen to that. Sir, how we can convey the spirit of October to the new generations?
Yes, I think this is very important, and I think that the new generation is starting to pick up by the efforts we are trying to exert, but we need a great deal of effort to make things clear, because we are facing a huge propaganda machine. And when I conducted the celebrated linguist Noam Chomsky, he said, don't call it the Israeli propaganda machine, it is a Western Israeli propaganda machine. So, and he mentioned to me that the Israeli propaganda is just an arm from the huge Western mentality that wanted us to feel frustrated, to reorganize our world, to redraw the world order their own way, which is based on a zero sum. But again, in 1973, Egypt proved that will never accept any redrawing of our area or on the account of our land and our dignity. And the détente by Nixon and the Brezhnev 1970 said this: no one move would be conducted on the Suez Canal for any front.
Yeah.
But on 1973, okay, 500,000 Egyptian graduate students were in the army with the great Egyptian army, stormed Barlop Line. 2 o'clock, 6th of October, was not just launching that attack, it was refusing the détente, refusing decisions to be made on our account, decisions to be unfair like that. So it is always having its own decision.
And our late president, Muhammad Anwar Sadat, was the hero of peace and war. This does not mean that we are looking for war, but when diplomacy is there, when we can regain our rights by diplomacy and by agreements, he did it, and even he went to the Knesset in Israel. How do you see being both the hero of war and peace?
Of course, that is the great thing about our president, Anwar Sadat. May God rest his soul. Actually, the whole world is celebrating him, especially the fair-minded people all over the world, because counter to what is happening now, Israel is launching aimless wars, going from one war to the other, making genocide, making all of things like that. Counter to that, Egypt is so wise, exerting strategic patience, and know very well that there should be an end to any war. And this is what Sadat understood very well. And when he launched the attack, he wanted to say, this is your land, this is my land. And he started to do diplomacy from a stand of power, from a stand of a victory. So they really should learn this lesson. And he said that in fact, I hope that they have absorbed the lesson. I hope that those crazy people who go for a genocide or thinking that they can demonstrate their power by a zero-sum mentality and redraw the whole thing as their leader says, I think this is not acceptable at all by the Egyptian leadership and the Egyptian people at the time of Sadat and now and in the future, of course.
Dr. Hassan Wageeh, Professor of International Relations and Linguistics, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Well, by this we come to the end of our special episode of our breakfast show. Once again, congratulations. We are extending our greetings to the Egyptian people, marking the 51st anniversary of the great victory of October War 1973. We are going to continue with this coverage all over the day on Nile TV International, so don't go anywhere. Many thanks for watching. This was Nurmeen Abdurrahman.